Okay, so when you're ready to begin, let's start laying down today. Grab any extra props or blankets or pillows or anything you'd like to make it cozy. Just go ahead and lay down. Maybe it's Shavasana today with your arms and legs extended in some way. Maybe it's constructive rest with your knees bent and your feet standing up near the edges of your mat. If there are any little movements you want to take before you settle in, go right ahead, continuing to make your own way towards our centering moment here. Maybe taking a sighing breath or two. Closing your eyes if that feels right, or just letting your gaze soften. Taking a few moments just to notice what's going on with your body. Does anything feel like you needed some adjusting, or is anything feeling a little off kilter or extra good today? Just taking stock generally of how you feel physically. And scanning through the memories of your day so far, just now noticing how much energy you've expended so far. What part of your day are you in? And scanning your emotional body, noticing if there's any emotions you can name or feel. And if you'd like to set a dedication or intention for today's practice, go ahead and bring something or someone to mind right now. Drawing the air down, deeper, lower, expanding your breath, letting the belly expand in all directions with your inhales. Letting your whole body soften with each exhale. And we'll take 3 rounds of clearing breath together, inhaling through your nose and sighing out of your mouth. Go ahead, 2 more. Find your way back to a steady pace of breath as you begin wiggling your fingers and toes. Let your head rock side to side, or maybe open and close your jaw. Swallow or yawn. Reaching long for a long body stretch, arms and legs straighten and reach in opposite directions. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes some more. And then you can have your hands, your arms anywhere you'd like. You can keep your hands up overhead in a long body stretch position if you want, or bring your hands back down by your sides. And we're going to simply touch each fingertip to the thumb. So pointer finger touches the thumb and release, and then middle finger to thumb, release, ring fingers on both hands here to thumbs, release, and then pinkies. Go ahead and do that a few times. touching, tapping on each finger. And see if you can go a little faster. Is it possible to close your eyes and do this well? Or is it something that feels better with your eyes open and looking at your fingers? Now just try to go as fast as you can. It's okay to mess up. I would say if you don't mess up, maybe you aren't trying to go fast enough. Oh, and then when you've had enough, shaking out your hands. And then we'll queue up for a couple rounds of breathing bridge pose. So if you have any pillows or anything under your head, maybe removing that now as you stand your feet up here, bending your knees. Take a look down at your knees. We want them to stay about like a block width distance apart or so. If it is better to actually use a block for you, go ahead and put a block between your knees just for some feedback there. Let's bend the elbows and press the upper arms down into the mat, tucking your shoulder blades in underneath your chest. Okay, feel into the low back here. Tuck your tailbone under so you press and flatten the low back into the mat. With an inhale, start to lift the hip points straight up. And then exhale, lower back down. Go with your own breath here. Use your entire inhale to lift, simultaneously pressing down through the arms and feet as we lift the hip points. And then exhales have you lowering. Go ahead and continue this experiment. Inhaling to rise, pressing down, lifting up, and exhaling to lower. So these last few rounds, go ahead and think more about pressing down to lift your way up. Kind of feels different. The focus is that downward pressure through the upper arms and feet versus the lift. Time you're lifted, go ahead and stay there for a moment or two. Squeeze the glutes just a little bit more. And then go ahead and lower down, move that block to the side and hug your knees in toward your chest, taking a little bit of free movement, maybe rocking a little bit, getting some massaging pressure going through the back there, maybe circling your knees or your legs, continuing to find some good massaging pressure. Okay, next we're headed up to a seat. Feel free to rock and roll a couple of times up and down the spine if that's nice for you, or roll onto either side through the fetal position and then right on up to a seat. Let's tent the fingertips off to either side here and sit up nice and tall, lengthening upward through the crown of your head. Take about a half tuck of your chin so that the back of your neck just feels nice and long. So like if someone was looking at you, you wouldn't look like you were tucking your chin. It's almost not perceptible here, but lengthening. With an inhale, let's flip the palms, reach the hands around and then up and overhead, they join. Exhale, bring your hands down to heart center, tucking your chin all the way down toward your chest at the bottom. Inhale, hands go high, gaze might follow. And exhale, lower your arms around and back to the floor. Let's do that a couple times. Inhale, lift, gaze might follow as your hands join. Exhale, hands come down to heart center, tucking the chin. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Go ahead and do that one more time on your own. If you forget what goes where, just make it up. All right. When you come back to our starting position, let's lower the chin back down toward the chest. Letting your shoulders relax down your back. And then allow your right ear to rock toward your right shoulder. You can pause right there, or Lift your right arm up and over so your right hand kind of grabs on to your left ear or side of your head, gently pulling, nice and slow here. Nice big breaths, breathing into any spaces you want to soften. And we'll switch sides, releasing your hand, chin coming back down toward the center of your chest, pausing there for a moment, just noticing how things feel side to side, and then eventually letting your left ear rock toward your left shoulder. Maybe staying just like that, or reaching that left arm up and over to grab hold of the right side of the head, gently pulling. Nice big breaths again. So it's amazing how easily the breath just gets forgotten sometimes. And then release. Go ahead and just kind of sink forward to a forward fold over your crossed legs. Maybe your hands come out in front of you. I'm just gonna let your head hang, maybe letting your head rock side to side a little bit. Keeping your chin tucked down toward the center of your chest, slowly roll up, back up to our neutral sitting position with your head and shoulders last to rise. And we'll switch the cross of the leg, whichever leg was in back now comes in front. And then another little forward fold over the crossed legs. Bringing your hands back down if you like. Maybe rocking your head a little bit more. Then tucking your chin down toward your chest as you slowly rise back up, head and shoulders last to rise. Okay, now let's straighten that right leg out. So left knee stays bent, right leg goes out to the side here. Let's take a twist away from the straight leg. So right hand coming to the left knee, left hand helping prop you up somewhere behind you, sitting up nice and tall and then twisting just a bit. For me today, I'm definitely feeling less like this feels less like a twist. It feels more like an inner leg stretch for me today. Just holding or twist. And then continue to hold on with the right hand on your left knee. Lift your left hand up. Now we're taking a side bend. So the left arm arching up and over in the direction of your right toes. Keep pulling with your right hand so you can spin your chest just a little bit more toward the sky. And one more breath in and out. Go ahead and lower the arms. We're going to keep the right leg straight, but just bring it straight out in front of you. Kind of a figure four position. So the left ankle and foot just on top of your right thigh, if that's possible for you. This might feel like enough of a stretch already. So feel free to stay here, flexing your feet. If you'd like to take it a little bit farther, go ahead and lean back onto your hands and bend your right knee, possibly planting your right foot on the floor for this figure four position, seated figure four. So go ahead and puff your chest up here, maybe letting your knees sway side to side or just hold still. You could circle through your ankle, left ankle, or maybe wiggle your toes. Taking a few more breaths to let this hip stretch here unfold. And one more breath in and breath out. Go ahead And straighten both legs here. Give them a little wiggle if you'd like. And then we'll switch sides. So this time the left leg is straight and the right knee is bent. Take a twist to the right. So the left hand comes to the right knee, right hand to the back, helping you sit up nice and tall. Sitting up tall here first before we think about twisting more. And then with an exhale, just twisting to about 50 to 75%. No need to get too much torque going here. And continue to hold on with the left hand on the right knee as you reach your right arm up and over in the direction of your left toes. Pulling on that right knee just a little bit so you can continue to open that right armpit up toward the sky. One or two more breaths. And coming back up. Let's go ahead and bring that left foot toward the center, figure 4, right ankle coming on top of your left thigh if that works. If that's too much, you can just put it up on your shin, wherever you're feeling good. So choosing your own adventure per usual, maybe staying here or bringing your hands behind you and then starting to your left knee. Is there any other little explorations here? Maybe a little bit of a deeper twist or turn through the knees. Just about one more breath. And then go ahead and straighten both legs, shake out your arms, shake out your legs. And we're gonna come around here, sweep the legs around to hands and knees for cat and cow. Hands below the shoulders, knees more or less below the hips. With your inhale, cow pose, lowering the belly, lifting the gaze and the tailbone. Exhale, cat, rounding your spine, pushing your hands into the mat, tucking your tailbone, tucking your chin. Inhale, cow, belly lowering. Exhale, cat, rounding up, squeezing the air out. Continue now at your own pace. All right, let's thread the needle, bringing the left hand a little closer to the center of the mat. With your right hand, take an inhale and bring that right hand up, upward twist first. Rotate out your right wrist a couple times as you breathe. Wait for an exhale, and when that exhale comes, thread the needle, right hand dipping down and through, right shoulder and right side of the head finding props or maybe the floor. Let your left hand move to a place that feels supportive for you. Maybe up near the top of your mat or out by your other hand. I kind of like to lean back into my right shoulder just to get a little bit more stretch there. You do you. Planting your left hand back by your face, press your way all the way up, lifting your right hand high once more. And then lower that right hand down, switching sides. Inhale, lift the left arm high, upward twist. Take your time as you breathe and rotate out your left wrist. Wait for an exhale, and when that exhale comes, thread the needle. Left hand dipping down and through, left shoulder and left side of the head, possibly reaching the floor or props. Right hand, right arm, finding a supportive place to be. Send your breath to that left shoulder. And when you're ready, plant your right hand by your face, press your way all the way up. Left hand reaches high. Let's find our way to extended child's pose next. Big toes touching behind you, knees out wide. If you're on a hard surface today, go ahead and grab a little cushion. Might come in handy here in a second. So if you want to get extra cozy, now's a good time. Extended child's pose though, knees out wide, big toes touching. Maybe bringing your forearms down to the mat today. Or maybe coming back up and just kind of rocking here, giving our knees a little bit more gentleness today. Or possibly sinking all the way down. Maybe your head even touches the floor. Wherever you are, make sure your knees are wide enough so your stomach has all the room it needs as you find some belly breaths. So belly expanding with your inhales. Everything loosening and softening with the exhales. Take the biggest breath you've taken all day today, right here. And then start to come on up. We're going to keep our knees out wide and our big toes touching here. We're going to find a little bit of a flow. So we're going to transition from our child's pose here up to a like baby scorpion, let's call it that. So we're going to come on up, start to sink your hips and toes still touching. Bring your toes up behind you, puffing the chest up, continuing to press down into the floor a lot. And then right on back to your child's pose. So go ahead and do that a couple of times. Inhale as you rise. Exhale as you sink the hips. Inhale, rise, tabletop. And exhale, child's pose. Go at your own pace a few more times or make up your own variation if this doesn't suit you. Okay, coming back to tabletop. We'll find our way to our first downward facing dog. Take your time getting there. If you like to use blocks, we'll bring those up to the top of the mat. If not, either way, our hands will still be very active here, curling the toes under, lifting the knees, reaching up through the tailbone. Find your breath. Move your breath. If you'd like, maybe pedaling out opposite knees, bending and straightening. Maybe bend and straighten the knees together a couple of times. And then bend your knees and look up toward the top of your mat and step and walk to the top. Today for our ragdoll, we've got two options. We can take a regular ragdoll with the knees bent and grabbing opposite elbows or letting the arms dangle. If you want a little bit more of a chest opener, you can try to grasp your hands behind your back and press out, and then let your elbows kind of sink up overhead. My elbows do not like that variation, but if yours do, go ahead and explore. You can bend and straighten the knees here too. A couple times. 1 or 2 more breaths. And then bending your knees eventually. Start to rise on up. Coming up to stand. And at the top, we'll get into a good little shake or a bounce, just getting our circulation going. So maybe taking a couple steps or a couple of jumps. And just shake your arms and legs. You could lift and lower the heels, doing a couple heel drops. Just follow your body's lead. Let your brain take a break and just let your body do something weird. Does not have to look cool. Maybe it feels cool though. This feels really cool. Whew. Once you feel that prana, that energy, that life force moving through you, come on up to the top of the mat. Take a look at your feet. Give your toes a wiggle. Make sure they're in a comfortable position. Spin the palms to face the front of your space. Broaden through the collarbones and hug your shoulder blades together gently behind your back. But if you feel like you're being too rigid, go ahead and soften a little bit. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Close your eyes for a second here if you like, and just feel how stable you are from the inside, from the floor, all the way up. If there's any little micro adjustments you can make to feel even more steady, please do. Calling to mind your intention if you set one today. Let's take one round of Brahmari pranayama or bumblebee breath here. The variation we'll do today, you don't have to use your hands. Your hands can stay where they're at. All we'll do is we'll inhale through the nose and then hum for the entirety of your exhale. Might be a bit longer than your normal exhale. So let's go ahead, just hum any old note. When you're ready, take a big breath in. Letting the reverberations move. And with an inhale, let's reach the arms up and overhead, maybe opening your eyes or keeping them closed. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, sliding the hands up the legs. And bringing hands to the blocks or floor. Let's step the right foot back first and then the left to your high plank, shoulders over wrists. Big breath in, big breath out. All right, we're gonna bring the right knee up toward the right elbow. And then as close as you can, keep the right knee close to your forearm, set your right knee down. So we're bringing it close, tracing a line down and then setting down on the floor. Right hand is gonna come slightly off of the mat to the right. Then we'll find a little half moon, baby half moon. So left hand reaches high, left foot lifts as well. For even more of a challenge, maybe coming up to the fingertips on your right hand. Breathing here, doing your best to be buoyant. And then we'll set the left foot down, reach your left arm up and overhead. A nice long side body stretch. And then lower your left hand back to your block or the floor, right hand as well to your blocks. Left toes curled under, three-legged down dog, that right leg lifts. And then exhale, foot finds the floor. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, knees lower, chest lowers. Untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet down into the mat. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra, maybe hovering your hands up off of the floor. Exhale, lower. One last time, we're adding on here. Inhale, rise, baby cobra, stay lifted for your exhale. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Exhale to child's pose, whichever variation you want. Knees together, knees out wide, or somewhere in between. Couple of nice big breaths here. And with an inhale, rising back up, tabletop, grabbing onto blocks, and exhale, downward dog. Big breath in and out. Inhale, bend your knees, look to the top of your mat. Exhale, step to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees a little more. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms reach out wide, hinging up through the hips. And join hands overhead, upward salute. Exhale, hands to heart center. Connect the thumbs to the center of your chest and feel for your heartbeat. Use your breath to help bring you back to homeostasis, back to a smooth, flowing existence. Creating your balance, creating these little pockets to come back to yourself, come back to the moment, back to the intention. We'll take another round of our Brahmari Pranayama bumblebee breath. That's that extended hum for your exhale. This time when you do it, just let yourself get lost in the buzz, lost in the hum. If your teeth are close enough together, sometimes you can kind of hear like a buzzing from that. So just get lost in it for a second. Let's inhale to prepare. Coming back to a normal breath. Inhale, hands reach high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step that left foot back first, then the right, high plank. One big breath in and out. Breathe like normal as you reach your left knee up toward your left elbow and then lower that left knee down your forearm to the ground. Plant your left hand just off on the left side of your mat and find your baby half moon, lifting the right hand, lifting the right foot, balancing. Strengthening here as well. Take about 2 more breaths. And then set your right foot down. Let your right arm kind of drape over up top. Side body stretch. And go ahead and bring your hands back down to your blocks. Right toes curled under. Go ahead and find downward dog, lifting that left foot high. 3-legged down dog. Exhale, bring your foot to the floor, regular downward dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. Exhale, lower your knees, lower your chest. Pressing the tops of your feet down. Let's do 3 more rounds of our baby cobra. Inhale, lifting head and heart. Exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra, maybe hovering your hands up off of the floor. And exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, we'll lift. Let's stay lifted. For the exhale. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. A couple of nice big breaths. Come back up, tabletop, and to our last downward dog. Exhaling as you arrive. One big breath in our down dog. And big breath out. Bend your knees, look up toward the top. Inhale. Exhale, step or walk to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees a little bit deeper. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms reach wide first, then we hinge up through the hips and join hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Equal standing pose, creating that sense of balance in your own body, in your own mind. Let's take a clearing breath now together, in through the nose and a sigh through the mouth. Blinking your eyes open. If they were closed, let your hands come down by your sides. We'll get ready for a little bit of balancing here. So if you want to come to a hard surface, or you want to get a little closer to a wall or some props for support, now is a good time to get set up. Today, we will build upon our figure 4 from earlier. So I'm going to hold on to the wall here. We're going to shift all the weight over to the right foot. Start to lift that left foot up just a little bit. Doesn't matter where it is. You can just kind of lift it up off the floor a little bit, or maybe find one-legged mountain pose for a second. We're just getting used to standing on our right foot. Okay. We're going to use the right hand behind you. See if you can or tap the left heel. So we're just kind of touching behind. Then bring it back out in front of you. One-legged mountain pose. So we'll do that a couple of times, just reaching that right hand back as you bring that left heel to touch the right hand, and then back up. You could stay here, just kind of practicing this movement, or eventually cross your left foot over the right into our figure 4 position. So you can stay upright if you'd like, or kind of sink down, maybe bringing your elbows to your leg. Finding your own way to be with this balancing. And if all else fails, just see if you can stand on your right foot. All those little wobbles, that's a good sign we're challenging ourselves, we're growing, we're sticking with it. Eventually making your way back up, and then lower your foot to the floor. Shake it out. Wow, my right leg is just a little fatigued after that. That's okay. Then we're going to shift all the way to the left foot this time. And again, start to find one-legged mountain pose, or just lifting your right foot up a little bit. If you're up for it, let's reach that left hand behind us, reaching for that right heel this time. Just giving it a little tap, and then back up. Go ahead and do that a couple times. Ooh, I'm glad I have a wall close today. And then moving into that figure four. Again, you can stay upright here or kind of fold forward a little bit. Steady your breath. Spend as much time here as you'd like. Coming back up when you're ready. And then lowering the right foot down, giving everything a good shake. Any last little movements or poses as you're standing up here, go ahead, maybe a little twist or turn. And we're gonna head to the floor through a squat. For me, I know I like to sit on blocks in my squat, so I'm gonna set those up right away. Can bring our feet out a little bit wider with the toes facing out, heels facing in. Grab hold of the knees here, and you can kind of bend your knees side to side, kind of dipping down and just playing with your squat like this. If your body allows and likes, maybe coming down to your malasana yogi squat, possibly aiming to sit on some blocks or the edge of a chair. Press your elbows into the inside of the knees, widening through the hips. Puff your chest up. Find an unmoving focal point or drishti. Breathe here. Lengthening upwards through the crown of your head. Another one you can stay in as long as you'd like. Extend or shorten. And then we'll come down to the floor. So making your way there. Slower all the way down. One more little chance if you want a little bit of extra core work here. Maybe you just slowly lower your way down. You can always go quicker if that's not what you're feeling today. If you've got a lot of energy you want to kind of use up here, maybe you rise back up and then lower back down again. Eventually heading into a long body stretch, arms and legs extending and reaching. And then we'll bend the knees. Stand your feet up on the mat here. Let's cross the right leg over the left. So not like figure four. This time it's like we're sitting in a chair, thigh to thigh, knee to knee. Arms can come out wide for support. Scoot your pelvis over toward the left edge of your mat, and then allow your knees to start twisting and lowering toward the right. You can kind of shift your feet around to support you or build a little pile of blocks or blankets to support your twist here. You might let your head glide from side to side. Or maybe you pause with your gaze turned away from your knees, gazing toward the left. And starting to think about switching sides, coming back up to the center and uncrossing your legs. This time, let's cross the right leg over the left, thigh to thigh, knee to knee. Scooting the pelvis over toward the right edge of the mat this time. Then we'll start twisting and lowering the knees to the left. You might turn your gaze to the right. And coming back up to center in your own timing. Uncrossing the legs, scooting back to the middle of your mat. Go ahead and take any last movements, poses, or stretches that your body is wanting or needing before our final rest today. And then setting yourself up in a comfortable place could be similar to how you began class today. If you have a chair close by, you might bend your knees and rest your thigh or your calves up on a chair, or maybe legs up the wall. Settling in. Before we settle all the way in, let's take one more round of our bumblebee breath. And this time we'll take our breath, we'll do our hum, exhale, and then we're just gonna kind of marinate, if you will, in the reverberations. Brahmari pranayama is said to kind of clear the space, clear the mind, steady things, kind of burn off the excess chaotic energy. So let's see if it works. I'll take a big inhale and then hum it out. Mm. Feel free to take another round of humming bumblebee breath anytime you wish. And if your mind starts to wander too far away, go ahead and redirect your focus to your breath, or maybe even another round of bumblebee breath. Making sure to give your body plenty of rest. You're always welcome to stay and rest as long as you'd like. You can just ignore the rest of this class and closing and just continue your rest. If you are ready to begin awakening, maybe start by deepening your breath, wiggling toes, and maybe touching each fingertip to the tip of your thumb, pointer finger to thumb, middle finger, ring finger, pinky, a couple times through. Coming back online. Might yawn or stretch. And eventually choosing a side and then rolling to that side, finding the fetal position for at least another breath. Tucking your knees in, bending your knees. Honoring the pause, honoring the transition. At the end of an exhale, go ahead and press your way up to a comfortable seat, maybe keeping your eyes closed as you join your palms, your hands in front of the heart center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and be free. And may our own thoughts, words, and actions somehow contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. Together, bringing thumbs up to third eye center. Let's seal in our class today with a little bow forward together now. Peace.